Hello, welcome back to Europa Universalis 3, where you might be wondering, what's your fleet doing in India? And why we have troops on there too? Well, the reason is, I'm also a horrible warmonger, but more importantly, we just recently got a possible national decision, which is Found Indian Trade Company, for which we need to own an East Indian trade port. Not sure if own means just take it, or also if we need to have core on it. However, the benefits we get out of that are pretty massive, because we get more merchants every year, compete chance bonus of 10%, and trade income modifier, trade tech investment every month, and we do already get a pretty significant chunk of our income from trade income. So anything that boosts that by 10% is something I definitely want to have as soon as possible. So I took a look at what kind of countries in the East Asia we already know, and currently there's a holy war going on against these guys here. But I thought the guys here in Ceylon, they're a much more interesting target to me, because they're on an island, off to the sea, so I can defend it just with a fleet and don't have to station too many ground troops there. So that is an advantage, and also they're not really that big. And while they are guaranteed by some pretty big nations, which is Bihar and Orissa, I believe, has territory somewhere around here, we can just make a separate peace with them as soon as the war starts, assuming these guys join into the war, and then, we give these guys a little bit of money or go and invade one of their provinces until they figure out that we're more trouble than we're worth. So let's get that particular thing started. Also get less infamy because they're heathens and infidels, So I can annex both of them, even though I haven't fully managed to remove my infamy that we got from the last war, the one against Bohemia. Anyway, let's start this. And I'm gonna set down our army here. Bihar have one of the military alliance in Orissa too. Well, never mind. Here for the first time we get to see that we have a significant tech lead, not just against European armies, but especially against non-European countries. Like, they have a land tech of 15, which is, which we had like ages ago. So defeating them is not gonna be quite much of an issue, even though they have a leader and all that, and we just made an amphibious landing. But well, we're just gonna split that stack in half and send the other guys over here, siege that. Meanwhile, because it was a pretty long trip, I'll probably want to have my fleet go in for some emergency repairs. So let's go here. I do have military access to France, and apparently they had a similar idea to us and took an East Asian trade port here at some point. It mustn't have been too long ago, because they haven't cored it yet, but better late than never. Alright, now we're gonna get some repairs in here. Technically, we would have been able to make it to the return trip. However, the longer you remain at sea, the more extreme your exhaustion gets, and at some point your ships are just gonna disappear, which, not a fan. So I'd rather have them wait here. I doubt that the Silent Fleet will engage us before before we lay siege to their province. So one more change. Sorry, it's already good. I could have it at 0 though. Alright. Because we have 0 inflation, which we're kind of the only guys who have 0 inflation. Just taking a look at the nation statistics. You can see, like, there's only a very few guys that are at 0% inflation. Most of them are Most of them are our vassals, by the way. Well, anyway. Alright, we're gonna remain here at the port for at least another month. Probably not gonna get the siege done immediately anyway, so might as well wait in port. Also, the provinces here are pretty decent, you know, they have a pretty high production income, which we're also good at. So, they're really good compared to most other provinces. I mean, there are a few ones that are better, but as I said, I think I would be very open to attack here, while here we could probably, you know, limit access to it if we station them at least a medium-sized fleet there. Alright. 1 month in, siege hasn't progressed much, so I guess we can stay in for another month of repairs. Well, after this month, we're just gonna go here, so we get some, you know, practice when we push this silent fleet out of their harbor. After that, we'll have to somehow get these guys to sign a white peace with us. Not really interested in more, but you know, also don't particularly want to give him anything. But Orissa is at a pretty sad level of war capacity. Also, all are suffering from war exhaustion already, while we're just not. Alright. Here, please. Some ships are fully repaired already, but we'll probably be able to stay here for some time and survive the return trip at this state. Could probably land at this island. Apparently it belongs to Orissa, which is one of our opponents. And also the one that, strange enough, the one leading the fight is the one with the least war capacity. I also got a better idea on how war capacity works. Apparently war capacity also takes into account how large your armies are compared to the other guys' armies, which is why we have 100% Bihar still has 73% because they're probably contributing the most amount of army here. Orissa apparently don't even have a large army, so their war capacity is even less than Ceylon somehow, who don't have any army at this point. Only, you know, they're the navy yet. Only the navy is, you know, still up, which is gonna change soon though. Why is that siege progressing so slowly? Managed to increase our agricultural production by implementing new farming techniques. Not too many at the same time, thank you. By implementing new farming techniques for plantations, irrigation, and land property and what? Land properties organizations. Is that a correct sentence? Never mind. And thereby bring higher tax income to our state. More military, no more national manpower, or higher base tax. I'll take higher base tax, to be honest. We don't have issues with manpower at the moment. And, you know, base tax, you know, will continue to pay dividends even after this bonus is done, which is only in, like, a few months. So let's just raise more taxes. Land technology research useless. I'd rather lose 2 cards invested into land technology, though I'm not a particular fan of it. The stability is really bad for us because we have a large country of various peoples. So I need to avoid stability hits, you know, like the plague. Not sure which plague, let's say bubonic plague. They don't want to make a peace, no. We haven't successfully managed to siege you yet, so we'll just not. So I thought that siege would go over quicker, you know, we even brought guns. Well, there was that particular war. Also, in the meantime, I've annexed Altmark, which was Magdeburg, I believe. You know, people are trying to revolt against this, and other vassals weren't initially very happy about it. But I do also need Altmark for our long-term goal, you know, which is coming kind of getting there. We have like almost half the provinces we need. And a couple of them are already, you know, vassals, so I just need to politely ask them to cede them to us. In order to get Lüneburg, we do apparently need to go to war with Austria at some point, but you know, we can't just avoid that for all eternity. Oh well. Also Franken, we also need Franken, so when that war with Austria is happening, I need to make sure that I get at least one of those. In any event, what's your offers? White peace? No, not yet. No. I generally like the idea of that. Probably they don't want to really fight me. But I didn't get here to just, you know, make a white peace a few months into a siege. I did also want to get something out of it. At least we're breaching the walls now. So it should be over, you know, rather sooner than later. Except if it's Switzerland, what do I care? It's freaking Switzerland, they're, you know, not on my side. I doubt that war has amounted to anything at all, because Switzerland is, you know, entirely landlocked. So why were they even at war with them? They're probably allied with someone who's at war with them. Like Denmark or Castile. But, you know, what do I care that a fight that hasn't been really happening is stopping? Well. So get this siege done, please, guys. Probably before our fleet starts to sink, you know? Yay, we managed to convert the heretics of Oberlausitz. Trying to convert the new provinces that we gained to serious financial drain at the moment. However, I'll probably also want to do it here. Well, it's not gonna be very successful because of their high tax income, so I might consider just building the level 3 fort before. Which will slightly, or ever so slightly, increase the local missionary chance and maybe, just maybe, make it go over quicker and not take, you know, decades. Which has happened. Even though with a percent with a chance of about 10%, you would expect it to be over in like a decade, but sometimes it's taking its sweet ass time. Alright, we can go back on board. Although naval combat is also happening. Right? Right. Captured a bunch of their ships. Ooh. Sweet. Since we did capture a few of their ships and they're in even worse state than ours, we do probably need to stay in for some repairs. home waters. Oh, because we control that province now. I see. Okay. Back on board. No ships were captured this time. That's a shame. Anyway, let's sue for peace with Ceylon now. We're gonna annex them. The rest of the Buddhist world, well, you know, we never were really, you know, best buddies with the Buddhist world. So, what do I really care? Well, there's that. Apparently, we just need to own this. Not anything else. Sweet. Interested in East India companies based chiefly on hopes and ambitions aroused by enormous revenues produced by initial ventures of other companies. At the same time, there's also a desire upon the part of Friedrich II to play a dominant role in contemporary world trade, a desire that isn't necessarily wholeheartedly endorsed by our country's local merchants. Yeah, well. Anyway, maybe I'll actually just want to leave these guys here, though they probably don't need the cannon just in order to defend the island. You know? Let's actually have you land here. I'm gonna offer Bihar. So, Orissa, we're gonna offer them a white piece. I don't need to gain anything out of that, I think. Maybe they would have money and I could, you know, squeeze a little bit of money out of it, but I'm really just... I achieved my strategic objective here, so... Anyway, we're gonna create a new unit. We're not gonna leave guns here. We are, however, gonna leave all of the cavalry here. Let's say at least 2. And then a bunch of infantry accompanying it. Just so that we have some regiment here that in case we surprisingly get attacked. Hey, that's so that in order we're getting attacked by someone local that we can just, you know, have something here already, hopefully put an end to this. But I believe that's all that I want to invest now. Sadly, we can't really train troops here until we core the province. Well, actually we can, but it's from the different tech group. Interesting. The cavalry is much worse than ours even. Okay. I can't really hire people. I thought it would be, you know, we would need to core it before that could happen. Well, start by building churches and courthouses. We're gonna wait until the end of the month for some more repairs. That should be enough, though, for in order for everyone to make the return trip. All right, so that was that. You know, very small scale military engagement, but one that should prove itself to be should prove to be really valuable long term, because our trade income has already increased significantly. Maybe at some point I'll get access to the centers of trade here. So far I haven't seen much except this one, so I might just ask them to open a market. Operations of Leiden. Okay. We could ask for no, we could give them military access. But just throw money their way too. So you can also start trading here when we have a few spare traders, because the markets that we have access to are kind of oversaturated with our traders. Like Hamburg, for instance, I threw a lot of, you know, merchants over there, but it's not really worth it, to be honest. You know, it's just a value of 270. That's virtually nothing. Also, Lübeck has seen much better days than it is right now, so if there's more profitable markets to trade at, definitely, you know, do so. Okay, the rest of you can return back home. I'm gonna plot a different course though. You know, avoid the open seas, because naval deterioration is much worse when you're not close to the coast of something. So we're just gonna... No, that was not it. Oh no, it is the correct one? Okay. Anyway, that should be fine. Travel all the way here, around here, there. Shouldn't just be able to make it back to Hinterpommern. Alright. So that was that. A little bit of a different, you know, engagement than we usually have. Those guys have lots of ships. Malacca. I mean, I guess they are an island empire, so it kind of makes sense for them to have ships. I'll probably start constructing a separate fleet back home in order to, you know, have someone around here. There's a lot of traffic here, so I doubt we'll have much issues with pirates right away. But maybe I could just leave a few bucks behind to begin with. Then I need to set the course again. God damn it, why? The regiment? I don't... yeah, that's not where I want to go. Anyway, since most of the episodes are really long, I thought I'd just, you know, make a quicker one this time. Not sure if it's reasonable to just continue on, but let's have it go for like 10 more minutes and see what's going on. That's not really that interesting. I'm just gonna, you know, check countries for diplomatic options and, you know, mostly that. I've also recently entered into a military alliance with Sweden. I have no intention of vassalizing them, though technically I could, because they're also Protestant. For now, I just thought, you know, I would like to have one buddy, you know, that I'm not planning on vassalizing. And they have kind of grown back to being at least a capable force on their own. So, and since they're Protestant too, it was a little bit easier to convince them than, I don't know, Danish. So the Danish would have probably been, you know, the more interesting partner. Anyway, I guess this is not at least 30 minutes, this episodes, but, you know, sometimes there's been an hour or longer episodes, so I guess it's gonna be fine. Not entirely sure who we're gonna fight next episode. Probably not someone in the East Indies unless we're getting attacked, you know. But we'll see that next time. Have a good one.